Hello everyone and welcome back to ML Crisis, a channel where I am trying to lose 100 pounds, get out of debt, and altogether be better at this whole adulting thing. Today, we are going to be talking about my top 5 restaurant manager horror stories. Now, before we get into it, I'm just going to say I'm not going to mention any specific locations, and I'm not going to mention any specific names. Try to keep it a little bit on the vague side because if YouTube doesn't work out, I still gotta work. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Number 5, ain't no food here. So, on this particular day, I'm not gonna lie to you, a lot of these stories, well, not all of them, but the majority of them happened in the same restaurant. At some point, I ended up in this restaurant in one of the tougher sides of Metro Atlanta. And I'll probably never work in this town again, but I had to learn my lesson one way or the other. Anyway, I was coming in for a shift, right? Fresh into a shift. As I walk in, I see this tall man, tall woman. They're just breaking it for the door, right? Not running, but speed walking. Definitely getting that Olympic speed walk going. And as I'm walking towards the back, I run into my general manager. I ask her what that was about, and what she says to me is that there was an incident with the kitchen, and because of that, a guest had a salmon take over an hour to make, which, granted, is 100% unacceptable. This restaurant I was managing at completely sucked. Our kitchen was a mess, but we don't need to get into all that right now. The kitchen ran out of salmon, and instead of telling a manager or informing anyone about it, they just skipped it and kept going on with the things that they had to make. The only reason the manager was made aware was when the guest was to their breaking point with anger, was just about cussing out the server, so the server went to go get the manager. So these people ran to the door, and then as we're talking, we hear shouting, right? We hear screaming outside, someone comes to get us, and I go up to the front door to see what's going on because it's on the other side of the door, there's this glass. And through the door, I can see that the man and the woman are blocking the door. Like they've got their hands stretched out like this, and people are trying to come into the restaurant and they're just shouting at them. There isn't any food here. There ain't no food here. There's one hour for salmon. This is ridiculous. We're doing y'all a favor. Turn your ass around. You don't need to eat in this place. They don't serve food here. So obviously we have to call the police, and the police make the mistake of coming down the street, blaring their sirens. So as soon as the police are coming up the corner, these guests move away from the door, run to their car, and exit on the opposite side of where the police are coming from. So as the police pull in, they're pulling out, and this restaurant has no cameras, no way of proving who these people are or showing the footage to the police. We just had to give our description and tell them what happened, so these people got away with it scot-free. Number 4. This one I call, well, this is one of my poo-poo pee-pee stories. There are many.
TV show is a pee-pee poo-poo show. We're always going to talk about pee-pee and poo-poo, and if not pee-pee and poo-poo, burping and farting.
Really different restaurant. The way this restaurant is laid out is kind of important for you to understand the full scale of this story. So here is the front door. As soon as you walk in, host stand. Right there on the right, there are a bunch of booths. People can come in, sit down, and eat. And then it just keeps going backwards like this, probably for like 2 or 3 more rooms. And then in the very, very back are the restrooms, okay? And I didn't really see what happened at first, but I can only assume based on what I did see. So I'll just tell you the story from the beginning, okay? So this child has an accident in their pants. They were wearing diapers, I know because I found the diaper later on the table, but I assume the father changed the child at the table, right on the table, left the dirty diaper on the table. Maybe he didn't have another diaper. Maybe he didn't have another diaper, or maybe he didn't have enough time to change that diaper. But for some reason or another, the child kept going after he had already changed the diaper. And the dad panics. He picks up the kid with no pants on and carries the kid like he's contaminated, running back towards the restrooms in the back of the restaurant. And the whole time, this kid is getting his chocolate and lemonade all over the floor. You can see the stream going straight back into the restaurant, where it continues until the dad cleans them in the sink. And then he storms out the front door with the kid. Anyway, it was not a good day. I would never ask my team to do anything that I wouldn't be comfortable doing. So it was me and one other very beautiful, dedicated person cleaning this chocolate and lemonade from the beginning of the restaurant all the way to the back of the restaurant. Ugh. Number 3, Whoopie. So, this is a fun story, and I wish I could say this was the first time I dealt with nudity at this restaurant, but I'd be lying to you. I worked in this place. It was a late night. It's when the restaurant is open a little later, not too crazy during the week. Someone comes to get me, a hostess, and she says to me, Orlando, I went to go check the restrooms, and I think someone is doing the deed in the men's room. I roll my eyes. I hope she's wrong, but I know she's not. So I go over to the restroom, open the door, and you hear, shh, keep it down, shh, 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 shh. I lower my head below the stall, because there's a little stall and then there's the bigger stall, and underneath the bigger stall, I see these tennis shoes and then these dirty ass chanclas.
What are those?
Look at my chocolate!
Right against each other, just kind of squirming around, little painted toes jiggling all over the place. All I did was say, you got 1 minute to get out of my restroom and get out of my restaurant, or I'm calling the police. And I shut the door, waited outside, timed the minute on my phone, and luckily they both made a dash for the door before I ever had to get the police involved. There you go. Very romantic. Before we continue, you know the drill. If you're new to my channel, take a big old bite out of that subscribe button down below to watch more videos just like this one. Number 2, Xmas in hell. If you work in the restaurant industry, you know that the holiday season is the best money-wise, but the toughest management-wise, because your restaurant's volumes are at the peak, right? We're always busy during the holiday season. When you're working at a restaurant that is not prepared for high volume, even during its slow period, going into the holiday season can be a complete and utter nightmare. So we're going back to one restaurant I think y'all will become familiar with. But anyway, it's a busy night. At this point, I'm an assistant manager, or like a manager helper, hourly manager, that type of deal at this particular night. The manager on duty, this man just gave up. He does not care. He is trying to get from point A to point B, and does not like dealing with the guest confrontation, interactions, that type of thing, right? So he leaves me up front and he goes and manages the back. On this particular night, we are just slammed and getting our asses handed to us. To-go is piling up. There are like a mob of 25 to 30 people in the lobby waiting on to-go orders, just getting riled up and angrier as time goes on. The kitchen has backed up to the point where it's 45, 40, 50-minute ticket times. It's terrible. It's awful, and this restaurant's just not equipped to handle it. The dining room also is just full to the brim, which never happens in this restaurant, but during the holidays, lo and behold, people want to show up to the restaurant. Everybody's just getting angry. Servers keep coming up to me. They're like, I need you to talk to this table. They're pissed off about their food. I need you to talk to this table. Everything's out except this one item. I need you to talk to this table. I need you to talk to this table. I need you to talk to this table. At some point I said, okay, just tell me what table. I'm going to write it down. I will get to them eventually. So I got my list of maybe 12 tables that is consistently growing, by the way, and I start going one by one, getting cussed out, getting called every name you could possibly imagine, just pissed off people after pissed off people. And this is a big corporate chain, so we we give away food when people are upset. It's okay, we'll take care of that for you. Let me get you a complimentary dessert. Oh, that's ridiculous. As soon as it's out. Don't worry, you won't pay a dime for it. Like, you know, I'm charity Orlando today. I'm freaking Santa Claus during Christmas time. As time goes on, it's not getting better. The other manager, he jumped on the line, so to his credit, he's back there cooking, right? I even remember this moment where he comes up to the front and the mob of to-go people see him come out the door. He's dressed in his manager attire, so they immediately like hone in on the target and start shouting, "Where's our food? Where's our food? This is ridiculous. We've been waiting for XYZ time. When's our food coming out?" And he's standing there holding like tongs or a spatula or something going, I'm gonna go make your food right now. And he turns back around and doesn't come out for the rest of the night. Meanwhile, as I'm walking around the restaurant trying to talk to people, other people are getting impatient and getting up and just pulling me. "I need to talk to you right now." Pulling me. "Are you the manager? I have something to say to you." It gets so bad. This guy literally comes up to me and looks me in the eye and says, "You're the manager, right?" I said, "Yes, sir, I'm the manager. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get to as many people as I can." This guy comes up to me, gets right in my face, and says, "If this is what you plan to do for the rest of your life, you should unalive yourself right now because you're never going to amount to anything." And I was just shocked because I'd never had a stranger talk to me that way. But again, it's my job to put up with this kind of crap, so I smile, I say I'm sorry, and they leave. The good thing at this point is that everything was getting so bad and people were seeing me get consistently bombarded so much that people started coming up to me and apologizing to me. They're like, "Man, I'm sorry. I'm sure you're having a crappy night, but we're gonna go. We can't wait for this food any longer. Hey, man, sucks to be you today. I know it's not your fault. You're doing your best, but this is just ridiculous. We're leaving." It never got any better. we stopped seating people, but we just could not catch up. Number 1, how I met Cardi. Bye-bye. So, I was at that particular restaurant that we keep talking about for some reason, and it was not even a particular busy day or anything special like that. It was just a random lunch shift. And at this time, I came in to train a new group of employees, right? But also on this particular day, we had our district manager, regional manager, whatever you all call them. My boss's boss was in the building. And because of that, she was 100% focused on him, more than the restaurant itself. She was by his side, working on, making sure everything's okay, trying to impress him. She just took over this hell of a restaurant, so power to her. She did a lot to make it better. Anyway, I'm training my training class. Someone comes to the back and is like, "Oh my god, Cardi B is here." And obviously, the people I'm training get all sorts of riled up and jittery. I have no idea who that is. I have to be 110% honest at this point. Don't know no Cardi bye-bye, okay?
What did he say?
They're completely distracted now. So I say, okay, everybody take 5 minutes, use the restroom, check your phones. Most of them are just getting up to peek around the corner to see if they can catch glimpses at her, whatever. A few minutes later, my boss comes over to me, my general manager, and she says to me, "Orlando, I know you're not here to do this today, but I really have to spend some time with my boss. So there's this guest that's complaining up front. They ask for a manager. They say they're famous, Cardi B or something like that. And at this point, her boss walks up behind her, hears the name, and goes, 'Cardi B, who's that?' And she says, 'Oh, some famous girl.' And he said, 'Well, I've never heard of her.' And she starts laughing about how she's never heard of her, and she must not be that big of a deal or whatever. And I go and talk to her. So I walk up front, and there's this guy, big guy, he's got dreads, and behind him, this woman who looks a little pale, pregnant, looks irritated as hell. There is Cardi B in the flesh.
Oh, what kind of word is that?
She's sitting on the couch looking hella nauseous, looking hella annoyed. So I walk up to the guy and he says, "You the manager?" And I said, "Yeah, that's me." And he says, "Look, we came in here to have a good time. We want to be treated like everyone else. And since we walked in, we've been nothing but bombarded and bothered, and it's just getting out of control." And I apologize to him. I offer, to take care of their meal. To which he says, we don't need a handout. We have money. And I said, I know, but just like anyone else, if something like this were to happen in my restaurant, I wouldn't want them to take care of their meal because we didn't give them the experience that I'm proud of. So he seems satisfied with that. She comes up. I shake her hand. I shake his hand, and then I stay up there until their to-go order's ready. They grab it, they leave, everything's fine. It wasn't until after they left that I found out what the straw that broke the camel's back was. Or at least this is how the story goes, because no one would own up to it, obviously. So apparently, Cardi B went to the restroom. She was feeling nauseous, morning sickness I assume, or some variant of it, and one of the employees thought it was appropriate to follow her into the restroom. And while she was in the stall doing whatever Cardi B was doing, they got in the stall next to her and said, "Cardi?" That was nuts. If that's true, that's crazy. But obviously nobody would own up to it. They would never let me find out who it was. I'd have a whole talk with the team about being appropriate, even if people are celebrities, and all sorts of crazy nonsense that doesn't matter. That is my top 5 restaurant manager horror stories. Would I do it all again? Hell no. I'm in a better place now and I'm happier for it. But I hope y'all have enjoyed my misery. If this video does well, I might do another one. While I was jotting down ideas for this video, I just started remembering all of the crazy crap that I dealt with in my history as a restaurant manager. I've actually been involved in management in some form for at least 8 years now. Oh my god, not even. At least 9 to 10 years now. And I'm tired of it, help me. Anyway, thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed this video, please click on one of these videos, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.